Laker fans, how we doing? My name is Sammy Long. I'm doing a Laker preview video for every game this season. Big one coming up against the Spurs in San Antonio. NBA Cup debut for the Lakers. Obviously, the Lakers are defending their crown from last year. People feel a certain type of way about that. Some people are excited about it. Some people like the idea. Some people could care less and think it's embarrassing the Lakers hung the banner of it. It'll be interesting. I'll get into this a little bit later in the video, but it's interesting to see how that kind of gets valued later on. Do people look back at in-season tournaments 10 years from now and look at it a certain way, or does it kind of fizzle out? So get into things later. Talk about San Antonio, big game, how Wemby and Anthony Davis have played against each other in the two matchups in Wemby's young career, being in his second year in the league. But first, we're going to get to some bench contributions. This has been the reoccurring theme all year. When the Lakers get contributions from other places besides LeBron and Anthony Davis, the Lakers win. They just do. They're hard to beat because we all know LeBron is unbelievable at his age. AD's having a career year, and Reeves is really, really taking a step as a player, I think, and really kind of been ascending. When they get help from other guys, they are a tough team to beat, and they look a lot like that team that went to the Western Conference Finals against the Nuggets a few years ago and feel like a team that could really compete. All year we've been saying this, Dalton Connect, unbelievable. I mean, this is why you drafted him. The league must be sick that they allowed the Lakers to get him. I think it makes that Jalen Hood-Schifino pick, which, as of right now feels like a miss considering the Lakers didn't pick up his option. I know they talked about how they're still valuing him. Yeah, that's coaches speak. Clearly, if they valued him enough, they would keep him under option for next year. But the fact that Dalton Connect was projected as high as 6 in some mock drafts and fell all the way to the Lakers at 17, unbelievable. 19 points, 7 of 8 shooting, 5 of 5 from 3. And these were not, meaningless minutes that he was racking up these threes and doing things like this. I mean, this was pivotal points in the game. The Lakers were down by 5, 96-91 heading into the fourth quarter. There was a time there in that game, the third quarter, it was like, really? The Lakers are going to blow a game to the Memphis Grizzlies, who were talking crap on the Lakers last week after they beat the Lakers shorthanded, Rui and Anthony Davis out. And you're going to lose to them with John Moran out and Desmond Bane out. And Dalton Connect was really the guy that made it all go. After the game, JJ Redick said that Connect was, quote, was the catalyst for our comeback. Thanks to energy he brought off the bench. LeBron talked about it as well. He leaned on Dalton Connect. That's what we did. AD got in foul trouble, and our first-round pick hit a hot streak. He looked like he was back at Tennessee, so we leaned on him. I just tried to sprinkle in a couple plays here and there. Obviously, LeBron did a few more than that with 35, 12, and 14 as a triple-double. It's amazing at this point what LeBron keeps doing. It's kind of crazy. You think he's going to slow down at some point. He doesn't. He's unreal. Maybe it's testament to how in shape he is and how just great of a player he is. But back to everyone else. I mean, Connect was the guy last night, and Connect is only going to keep getting better. I think it was unfair early on to expect, night in, night out production, but you see the talent there last night. And yes, there's going to be cold shooting nights, just like there was last week. But he's going to get better and better as the season goes along, and he feels more comfortable. And I love that the team was going to him in pressure moments. Again, they weren't just going to him in garbage time, trying to get him some looks. The game was seriously in doubt, and the Lakers were looking like they were going to kind of blow one, and it was going to be kind of same old Lakers. And they went to the rookie. They went to the kid, and he was unreal, and they just kept going to him on the hot streak, being a little less positive. Other guys got to step up. I mean, Gabe Vincent. What the hell, man? I mean, I've been a Gabe Vincent supporter. I was stoked when the Lakers signed him on a 3-year, $33 million contract from Miami. We all know what he did. He shot something like 42% from 3 on his run to the NBA Finals with the Heat that year. Shot really well against Denver as well in the Finals, even though they lost in 5 games. Very frustrating. I mean, 0 for 6, 0 for 4 on the night from 3. It feels like we were waiting for it to kick in, and we keep saying it. Last year, it seemed like it was a pass because he was out for most of the year, came back with a couple weeks to go, and then got thrown in the playoffs and was really counted on it to be a shooter. And it felt like, he couldn't get his rhythm going. Hopefully he can. I don't know why he looks so lost out there. I mean, he looks like he's not only just missing shots, but now he feels like his confidence is shook. I mean, there was a game last week in a game, I highlighted in one of my previous videos. He passed up an open 3 to give to D'Lo, and D'Lo ended up making it, but Gabe Vincent is not a guy who should be passing up 3-point looks. Gabe Vincent was a 3-point specialist and played defense. That was what he got signed to do. It's not a very encouraging sign when I'll give D'Lo credit at this. I've always been a D'Lo supporter. I know it's easy to rip D'Lo because it's very frustrating. He had a tough night, 8 points, 3 of 9 shooting, 2 for 6 from 3. But I like that D'Lo pulls it, and no matter what the press is saying about him, I mean, he missed that easy bunny layup the other night, and then came back and hit a clutch 3 at the end of the game. So D'Lo is never shy on confidence. That's one thing I really love about D'Angelo Russell. He just kind of shoots his way out of it. Gabe Vincent, I don't know what's going on. He's got to get it back. Another frustrating thing, I get Max Christie hadn't played well, but he can't make $8 million a year to sit on the bench. So they got to figure a way out to get him back in the lineup. I hope it's just kind of a reset. Hell, send him down the G League for a minute for a game and let him score 30 points and get his rhythm back and feeling back, because I mean, Gabe Vincent making $11 million, Max Christie making $8 million this year. That's $19 million sitting on the bench, and one of those guys is playing, and Gabe Vincent, the other guy isn't. And Gabe Vincent isn't even scratching. So that's a real problem. Last thing I'm gonna say on this: Quincy Olivari was a great story. Made the roster. Was not a guy people were looking much at, but really showed out in summer league and was great. He went to the G League in the opener. He had 28 points, 7 for 15 from beyond the arc, 10 rebounds, 6 assists in 37 minutes. And D'Angelo Russell saw it. He said, I just told him to stay humble. Said of his conversations with Olivari. It honestly looked like he was too good for being out there, respectfully. But I know how you can get high and then have a bad game and it gets you lower. That's just what it is. I mean, at some point, bring the kid up. I mean, if Gabe Vincent and Max Christie aren't going to do anything, give him a shot. I mean, maybe you got something, Olivari. You just saw the other night. It's sickening when guys aren't believed in, because Scottie Pippen Jr. is balling out for Memphis, and the Lakers had him, and it kind of felt like he was an afterthought, even though he played well in some good games in the summer league and preseason. Just never really gave him a look. Yeah, I think Olivari deserves a look, and especially if you're going to just bench Max Christie, you got to find a way to get him back in. But bring him up. See what he can do, because they're not getting much production from anywhere else. So if he sucks, he sucks. And it's not like they're taking minutes away from some elite scorer to put him in. So I think the Lakers should bring him up. Heading on to Wemby against AD, fun matchup. I mean, just two of the game's best young defenders, playmakers, excuse me. People forget, AD's early 30s, and he's been in the league for a long time, so it feels like he is a vet, but Anthony Davis is a lot younger than a lot of the big stars in this league, in his early 30s. And I think because of his injury history, he feels a lot older. But if AD really can have cured that, knock on wood that he doesn't get hurt, and that he kind of continues what he did last year, playing something around 76 games, I believe, and really kind of providing a new outlook on his play and things like that, because he just couldn't stay on the floor before then. We're going to see this matchup for many years to come. And Wemby obviously is going nowhere. Unbelievable. He had 50 points the other night. This team kind of goes the way he goes. In their 2 matchups last year, the Lakers did get them both. AD had 37 and 10 and 28 and 13. Wemby had 30 and 13 and 27, 10 and 8. So Wemby did have some big games against the Lakers last year. He just didn't have a lot of help around him, frankly. So the Lakers were just rolling everyone at Wemby and daring other guys to shoot. But we're going to see this matchup for many years to come, and I expect AD to keep dominating. I mean, he's, last year it was frustrating when AD would shrink against some of the top bigs in the Western Conference, and that hasn't been the case this year. In fact, he's really seemed to take it personally, the record Domantas Sabonis had against him, and Nurkic and these guys, and Jokic, haven't seen the Nuggets yet and things like that. But I mean, AD is just taking his game to a whole nother level, and it's exciting, and I expect him to, do it against the Spurs. And I think that's what the Memphis game, going back there real quick, people are going to go, well, why are Laker fans excited? They beat a Memphis team without Bane and John Morant, and that would have been a bad loss. But I'm not as concerned about that, because the Lakers have shown they can beat good teams. They beat the Timberwolves opening night. They've beaten the Suns, who are a really good team. They've beaten Sacramento. I mean, they can. That's never been the Lakers' problem, even down to last year, is beating good teams. Can they do that? The problem is beating the teams you should beat. That's been the Lakers' problem. It's zero consistency. The Lakers last year, mentioned it before, they go into Boston, beat the future champions with no LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Austin Reeves and D'Lo have career nights, and then the Lakers roll into Houston and get blown out by 40. I mean, it made no sense whatsoever. It felt like a lack of focus thing. Coaching, JJ Redick really seems to have this team locked in. So that's what I thought was cool about the last night, is that everyone expected the Lakers to lose. The line going into the game was the Lakers -6.5. So Vegas thought so as well. And the Lakers were able to pull it out. And 1-1, every game's won, no matter if it's beating the best team in the league or the worst team in the league with a bunch of injuries. The Lakers just got to stack wins, and hopefully they're not playing in the play-in, and they get some to rest down the stretch. I think that'd be a very different Laker playoff team if they're able to get some rest for some of these guys heading into the playoffs. Looking at the Spurs, more in depth, obviously just touched on Wemby, unbelievable. They really made a point to go out and get some veteran presence because it was so young last year. And I mean, Popovich, everyone, by the way, get well, Greg Popovich. He suffered a mild stroke. We don't know when he'll be back, but wishing him nothing but the best. The rest of these guys, it was just really young last year, and it felt like kind of a developmental year, and they were a fun team, but never really taken seriously. We go get Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes, two guys that have played in major big games. Obviously, Chris Paul, 38 years old, unbelievable though. We all know this storied career. And Harrison Barnes, playing with the Warriors and just a really savvy veteran. I was surprised to learn he was only 32. He felt older to me. Maybe that's kind of the Anthony Davis thing, and that they feel older because some of the injury history and just been in the league so long. But they go get Harrison Barnes, Chris Paul, but they still got all those young guys. Obviously, Wemby, Stephon Castle out of UConn is a really fun player. He was great, won the national title with them. He's only 20 years old, and he was taken with the lottery pick, and he's just going to get better and better. Castle and Wemby are going to be good for a lot of years to come. Devin Vassell, he's a really good player. Malachi Branham, Blake Wesley, Keldon Johnson. These are all young guys who are just going to keep getting better and growing. So I think that's why you see the inconsistency with the Spurs. They're playing around 500 ball because it is young, and when the talent's there, I mean, they scored 139 points the other night against the Wizards, but they gave up 130 points. And then they had beaten the Kings before then, 116-96. So you hold one of the best offenses in the league to 96 points. But then the game before that, the Jazz had beat them. The Spurs beat Portland 118-105. And before that, the Rockets blasted the Spurs by 27. So there's a lot of inconsistency. This is a team I feel like could beat anybody on any given night, but could also lose anyone. They feel a lot like maybe a poor man's Lakers last year. But this is going to be a fun one. Vegas has the Lakers favored by 3.5. Really excited for the game. Obviously getting NBA Cup going. As I mentioned earlier, it's going to be fun to see. I like from night one that it seems like the players take it seriously. And if Rui joked today about how he's like, we want to win that money for all the guys, especially some of the guys on the end of the bench who may not be, multimillionaires yet. Have a ton of money. It's going to be interesting to see how this gets valued because Tuesday night, I mean, there were some great games. Pistons won. The Hawks upset Boston. I mean, people were really playing, and it felt like they're taking it seriously. And if the players are taking it seriously, kind of playing it like playoff basketball, I think the fans are going to take it seriously. So that's good to see, and I'm excited. Hopefully we get another Laker W, keep stacking wins, going for 4 straight. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you. As I mentioned, Alan's got his show. He's killing it. And he'll be rocking with you guys on the post-game show. But thank you for tuning in, and go Lakers.